about one of the courses I'm taking. It's called Architecture of Real-Time Systems, and right now I'm assigned to create one of the first assignments. That's basically a manager prototype. It's one of the components of a game engine that we're gonna create in the near future. Uh, so let me walk you through and tell you what our manager prototype is actually. Alright, so we're gonna create a manager uh, which will be managing a linked list. It has functions of adding, removing, and finding the data, even the ability to report the data itself. We're gonna create another class that will be a node. It's similar to a linked list node, and we are gonna use a D-link that is gonna be an abstract class for this data structure. This is a simple UML that we have actually replicated in our program. So let's start with the D-link. Uh, this is actually an abstract class. It is gonna hold a previous and next node in it. We have not put any kind of other than constructor. We have not put any kind of other programs or anything because it's a abstract class. We're gonna you're gonna use this class, and we're gonna use data node uh, and use d-link as a derived class. So data node will contain two of the variables. That's gonna be data node name, and we're gonna use object because I'm just trying to make it more generalized so that we can use in future if we need any other type of data as well. I'm thinking of utilizing data node name as a type of data that we're going to use in here, and we can extract data on the basis of that using the function of boxing and unboxing in C#. Alright, so we have defined constructors and destructor as well. Let's go to the manager class. That's the actual class that's going to manage everything in here. So it starts with the default constructor where we're going to create a reserved node and a reserved linked list. Reserved linked list is this is going to be used at the time of initialization of our game engine so that it won't take much of the loading time creating a new nodes. This is a copy constructor. It's going to copy all the data over to the newer variable. That's a destructor which we'll be using to remove all the whenever it destroys a variable, we're going to remove all the data that is on there. Let's start with our first method, that's add. Add is gonna initially, if we don't have any new reserve nodes, and if it's 0, we're gonna create one, and we're not gonna increase the number of reserve nodes by 1. What we are doing next is we are taking a temporary reserved variable and putting the head as a reserve. We're just gonna use our head. We're not gonna browse through the link list, and we're not gonna browse through the link list so that it takes less of the running time. We're just gonna use it and drop it on the head and push it up in as it is. Once it is removed, we'll check the preserve as the next, and if pre-reserve is null, then we'll set the if it's not null, we'll just set the previous as null too, and we'll decrease the number of nodes on there. Then we're gonna add it to the newer active list. We're gonna take this node as a reference, and we're gonna take its temp node, copy all the data over to that, because this is a D-link, and I'm gonna do it changing the data type on there. That's gonna be data node from D-link. We're gonna set this, and we'll increase the number of active nodes. We have find function that we'll use an out data node, and out is, and then we have a data node name in name. We'll use this in name, and we'll try to find out the first one, and it is going to return that specific node itself back to the function. So all I'm doing is running a while loop and trying to find it out. Now the next is gonna be a remove function, where I'm just doing a assert first, so that if it's null, we just make sure it's not called ever. If and then we'll just gonna remove the active node. We're just gonna do the reverse process on this one. We'll just gonna empty the whole node, and we're gonna put it back on the reserve's head itself and increase the reserve on here. And these are all the defined variables on manager. So let's start with our program where we have our void main function. I have defined a manager. I created 4 different data on here and reference them to the add. We can directly create, or maybe just we can use add as in a lot of different ways. Right now I'm just using as a reference, which is not really necessary, but I'm just doing in case. I'm just gonna move it back to, or maybe I'll just take in the data, actual data, and set the data on the nodes. Then once we add it, uh, I'm just trying to find a node, and in this case I've taken fish, and then I'm trying to remove different nodes. First I'm trying to remove it from the head, then I'm trying to remove it from the next one of the head, then I'm trying again the head itself from the active list. So let's try running this program. Let's clean, build, and start it. Okay, so let's make breakpoints here. Alright, so now it is gonna create the 5 datas. Let's walk this add function through. We are adding it. It is gonna go through number of reserves. It's gonna skip because it's not 0 yet, and we're gonna move forward with that. And it is adding everything, making it null, and we're just making it sure. Let's move to the next step. We can see here when we move to the next step, it's gonna add one more, and that is, we can see here, that's bird in previous. The next is bird, and the active actually is cat, so bird and cat. And once we do this, let's just set it, it's gonna be dog, cat, and bird the same way. And let's see if we are able to find out the fish node or not. And right now you can see it's null. In the next function we are able to find the fish node on here. And so our active node right now is rabbit, so let's see if we are able to remove that. And our current active node is fish, so the rabbit is removed, and that has compiled successfully. Thank you, and hang on to the channel. We'll be coming up with more of the updates on the game engine real soon.